Okay, good morning. This is Patricia Patton of patriciaapatton.com, and I'm talking to Kailen Rosenberg and Betsy Broyles about Alzheimer's. Ladies, may I start with Betsy? And would you tell me what your personal story is about caring for your mom who is battling Alzheimer's?
Well, my mother was diagnosed in the year 2000, and I moved home to take care of my mother. And so one of the things that we learned through this process is that there's no substitute for good preparation. You know, you have to educate yourself on this disease, and you know, it's critical to learn to be a better caregiver. And it's so important too to find a good doctor, you know, that you can go to who can advise you and help you with the treatments that are available.
Well, is Alzheimer's a type of dementia, or I'm not clear about that?
Oh,
or is it
that's a great question, because a lot of people ask that. Dementia is the overall umbrella, and Alzheimer's is the most common dementia, and so that's why you hear so much about Alzheimer's.
Because I have a couple of friends, both of whom are caring for their mothers.
Mm-hmm.
One is in assisted living, the other is still living on her own. They're both horrible situations, of course, for the patient, but both of my friends feel that they're intolerable circumstances that they can't really discuss with other people because it doesn't sound nice. How did you cope and care for the changes that were happening when your mom's condition became more challenging over time?
Well, we always tried to look at it. I'll go back to your attitude is your greatest asset. You know, you can't let your circumstances determine your quality of life. You know, it's your attitude. So we always tried to look at taking care of my mother as a privilege, and that made it positive. Because once you start looking at it as a duty, then it becomes negative. And so, but I think that the unconditional love that you have for that loved one, even though this disease can be, very difficult and struggling at times, it is the disease. And I think it's important for your friends to remember that, and that they still have to show compassion and love and patience, while they're taking care of that person.
What resources did you use to help educate yourself about caregiving?
Well, there's
what resources did you use?
Well, but back when we were taking care of my mom, there weren't a lot of resources back then, but there's a great new resource. It's called Alzheimer's Unconditional Love.com. It's a brand new website that's going up, and it's going to have so much great information on it. And I highly recommend that everybody listening to the show that's dealing with this disease, that they go onto that website and learn as much as they can, educate themselves on the disease so they can be a better caregiver, so they understand the disease is so important.
And what was the website again?
Alzheimer's Unconditionallove.com.
Okay. Kailen.
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Great. So, this is a topic that is, like I said, on the top of the minds of lots of different people now. And even, everyone's afraid, as a matter of speaking, with the aging of baby boomers and the prediction that this is going to be a disease that will rise in numbers in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about the kind of unconditional love that it would take to care for someone with Alzheimer's?
Yes, well, again, we look at love in so many different ways. We think of love as a romantic kind of love. And but when you're sitting in a situation where there is now a role reversal, because no matter what age, we still need and want our moms and our dads, right? And next thing you know, you're sort of parenting them and taking care of them and loving on them in ways that they did for you even when you were little. And so it's really important to be able to, again, seek as much knowledge and understanding as possible for oneself if you are a caretaker and or someone who is a caregiver for someone who is struggling with Alzheimer's, so that you can have the patience, the understanding, the knowledge to love on yourself, to take care of yourself. When you're feeling scared, you're feeling stuck, you're not sure what to do next, you know that you want to be able to give to that caregiver, you want to be able to give to appropriately to that loved one. The guilt comes into place. People just, I hear a lot through clients of mine that have parents that are struggling with Alzheimer's, that it's a really vulnerable place to be for both. And so when it comes to unconditional love, just knowing that it is coming from the heart, from the soul, from the being, and it's experienced both ways, and that's necessary.
And how do you work with families? Like, could I recommend you to my friends in particular who are in the New York, New Jersey area? How would you work with families who are actually experiencing this at this point?
Yes, absolutely. I work with people on all levels of understanding love and healing and compassion. And I had the honor of working with a woman just a year ago, actually, whose husband was in a pretty deep stage of Alzheimer's. And she loved him so dearly, but she was really feeling stuck. She was feeling feelings of guilt. And my job was to not only actually love on her and to remind her the importance of loving herself, but also to teach her to stay present in compassion for her husband as he shifted and he changed. And I, again, honored and grateful that I was given that opportunity to be there by her side as her supporter. It's huge. But we can all do that for one another. We don't have to be experts. As much as I love doing it for people, I think in a sense we're all to different degrees experts at love, or at least seeking to understand love, so we can love one another and be a support to each other.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. The thought certainly is you certainly want to be a support to your friends who are caregivers in a situation such as this, that often feel lost about what you can
Very much.
do other than check in with them to let them know that you're thinking of them.
Absolutely. Yes. Please. Yes.
And so, to close it out, what advice would you share about redefining the role of children who are caring for the parents or any loved one facing Alzheimer's? I mean, is there anything, for example, that I need to do? I don't have Alzheimer's, I hope never to, but is there anything that I need to talk to my only child about? Should this be a situation for me in advance? Is that something that needs to be done?
Betsy, how would you answer that?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's important that you that you do talk to your loved one. And we actually wrote a book too it's called Coach Broyles' Playbook for Alzheimer's Caregivers, and it walks you through that process of things that you need to look at and things that you need to discuss with your children. I think that's very important, and it's a great resource too for caregivers and understanding the disease, and it does give care tips but yes, I've talked to my children, about what I want them to do if it happens to me, and so yes, it's very important, and that's an area too where again you need to educate yourselves on the questions that you need to learn to talk to your children about, and again that website alzheimersunconditionallove.com can help you with that too.
All right. Well, actually, this has been very helpful. I'm sure that a lot of my readers will gain a lot, certainly from knowing where that resource is, the website that you just referenced. And I really want to thank both Kailen Rosenberg and Betsy Broyles Arnold for taking the time to share that with me this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.